Hey, good morning, everybody. Getting ready to proceed with part 2 of the chat app tutorial. If you watch part 1, then you should know where we're at. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, then you may want to jump back and watch that one first before watching this one so that you know where we're at. In between recordings, I was assessing a couple of things and realized that the direction I was taking with these tabs up here really didn't make any sense, given how we're going to set things up once we get to creating user accounts. These two tabs here are going to be pre-created, so these are the folders for all of the chats as well as the end-to-end encrypted chats. And these are going to be created for the user, and then the user can create additional folders if they want to. But because we're going to create those folders in the same collection, if we were to leave these two buttons here and we pre-create those folders for the user when they set up their account, then those folders would be repeated in this list. So we don't actually need these two here. So let me just go ahead and cut that out and then just get rid of this entirely here. And then paste that one back in. Oops. It's not where we want to put that. Put it in the column here. Drag it up here. And as you can see, this row is expanded, so you obviously want to turn expansion off so you're not expanded anymore. And then drop that down by 30. So we're kind of back where we want to be. Alright, and then alignment. I want the alignment to the left. I don't really want these things to be centered, but obviously I don't want it like right up against the edge here, so pull that away from the edge, like 16. Probably the same on the other side as well. Alright, so that's taken care of. Now, what I want to go ahead and do right now is go ahead and tie these buttons into the page view. So obviously the page view widget is querying the folders collection, and this row up here is also querying the folders collection. So they're getting their data from the same place, but we need to link them together so that when you swipe back and forth between the page view, it changes these correctly, or if you click on one, it'll change the page view accordingly. So to be able to do that, first of all, I want the folder that is being viewed, I want that one to be highlighted with a background, and I want the rest to be transparent. So we're going to need to set the fill color to a conditional. And I need to go ahead and set this real quick to the folder's title. And I want the container to be, the width to be dynamic, so it kind of changes depending on how long the folder title is. But I don't want the title right up against the edges, so we do want to set padding on that. Alright, that should work. Alright, so let's go ahead and set the conditional so that the folder that's being viewed is the one that'll be highlighted with a background here. So I'll go down to fill color and set a visibility, or a variable. And we're going to do a if then else condition. And then we want to do a single condition. And we're going to select folders, document, and we're going to choose index and list. Just leave that alone. Is equal to the current page view index. So that way, whatever page view is currently being viewed will obviously be the same index number as these tabs up here, because they're both getting their data from the same place. And so it'll be highlighted. Then we can set the color for that. Otherwise, I want it to be transparent. and default also be transparent. Okay, so that'll take care of that. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and set an action on the buttons. And so we'll do widget, control page view, we'll select our page view here. We're going to do jump to and set that as a variable. And we are going to jump to, go to the folders document, and we're going to jump to index and list. Because again, the index for the folder here is the same as the index for the folder in the page view. So that'll jump us to the correct page view. Okay. And then as far as setting an action on the page view itself, what we want to do there is, in order for the background on this button to change, to highlight correctly, we've got to apply a rebuild to the page, so that it rebuilds the UI and changes accordingly. So we can go ahead and do a local page state variable. It doesn't really matter what this is. We just need to be able to access the page state. So I'm just going to do, again, this is rather irrelevant here. Leave that as nullable. And then go over here to your page view, add an action, and then we're going to go to state management, update page state. Again, you don't need to add that field. You can just leave that empty if you want to, or if you want the page swiping to do something, you can update there. But otherwise you can leave that empty, but you do want to have rebuild current page turned on. Okay, so whether we change our page view, our folder, by tapping up here, or we do it by swiping left to right, either way will trigger that rebuild, because the action on the page view, whether the user is the one swiping or it's changing from tapping this button, it's still triggering a page swipe, essentially. It's kind of a misleading title. So it'll update the page state and rebuild the current page. Either way. So that'll give you the UI changes to reflect accordingly. Okay. So that takes care of linking those two things together. So we're good to go there. So we've got these things taken care of then. So let's go ahead. I want to go down here to my floating action button. And I'm going to do whatever you want to pop up your list. I'm going to do something a little fancy, I guess. So I'm going to go to my stack and grab a container and drag that sucker down here. Make it a little bigger. And of course we'll round our edges, and then the fill color, I'm going to change that. I'll do it like that. And then let's go and put a column in there. And it's probably a little too much. And so we're just basically creating some menu options here to be able to create a new chat, just a primary chat. Do an end-to-end button, create our encryption, our encrypted chat, and then maybe a folder, create a folder. So let's do this. Let's do it this way instead. All right, you can just change this whatever you want it to be. Oops. In here. There's a folder. I don't know if they've got anything. Yeah, that. Use that one. That's not what I want. To be filled. All right. So now let's kind of clean this up a little bit here. Oops, not that far. All right, that might work. I have to adjust that some, make it fit correctly. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's add another condition in our page state variable. I'm just going to call it create box open and set it as a bool. An initial field value will be false. Okay. So here we want to do a conditional or conditional action, and we want to grab page state and then choose that bool that we just created. And so if it is open, obviously true. Let's start over here on false. False being that it's not open. So we would first update page state, set our value to true, and we just copy that and paste it over here and set it to false. And so we'll come back to that. Now we're going to come here and set an action trigger. Let's see. I found that scaling doesn't seem to work very well, but try it and see if it will. Set that to 0 and that to 0. See what that does. Okay, might work. It'll be a little faster, and oops, I'll do slide. I want these to be the same. We do want to hide before animating. Initial position, let's see here. Horizontal. Just gonna have to play around with this and see exactly what will look best. Let's do 100 real quick. Yeah, it's kind of what I want. Don't really want it to come out. Let's do 80. Okay, that'll work. And then this guy here, I also want it to be an action trigger, and we're going to rotate. And we want to do, let's see, no, that's way too much. 0.15 maybe. much as well. Didn't get it exactly right. Let's do 130. Okay, that looks right. Yeah. All right. So that should be good, I think. Although I kind of want that faster. Let's do 300. Okay. So let's go ahead and open this back up. And we're going to trigger that action or that animation. Do it for both of them, obviously. Set that one to non-blocking because we want it to trigger at the same time. Okay. Actually copy the action chain and then put them over here. And then we're going to reverse animation on those. All right. So that should do what we're wanting then. So we got our page state set and our animation set, start and reverse. So that'll now pop that box out there or take it back in, make it disappear. All right, so that takes care of that. So let's see here. Where do we want to go from here? Make sure that's set correctly. Okay. I guess we can move on to setting up our actual chats. So yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and start setting up the actual chat page and how that's going to be configured, and show you how that'll work here. All right, so let's create a folder real quick to hold this. Have our chat pages in there. All right, so let's go ahead and create the first one. And I'm going to create a secondary one. This is going to be the encrypted one. I'm actually going to have two separate pages for this. Just to keep these things kind of separated out here. We'll start here. Turn that off, turn that on. Make that black, get rid of this. And get rid of the column. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a stack in here. And then, yeah, we need something at the top there, so let's just do a row. Actually, let's get rid of that. Let's do a column first and then do a row inside the column. And we're going to bring this sucker down. Not by that much. 52 should be good. All right. Then let's see. Try to decide how I want to have this kind of arranged here. Think put this here. Kind of play with this as we go along, figure out exactly what all we want this to do. We'll just set that as a menu icon for now and put an end drawer in there. And then over here in this little one, this little interior row, just copy that. Actually, better yet, let's go over here to our home page, grab this, and paste it, and get rid of that, and scoot that over there. Okay. All right. So I think that's how we'll do that for now here. Okay. And we might put some text in here and add like a name or something to the chat. All right, I'll leave that alone for now. All right, and now let's go ahead and drop a list view into the column and bring that down some. That should work. And then let's go back to our home page and grab this. And then in our stack, we'll drop a container in there and put that thing down at the bottom and do its width at infinite. And then its height, we'll do it like 82. And just gonna have that black as well. Paste that in there, and then we're gonna have child alignment. Let's grab it here. There at the top. And bring that down to like 16. I don't know how even that is. It's pretty close. Oh well, just leave it like that for now. Okay, so got all this stuff set up here. All right, so let's go ahead and add something here. So to create our custom chat, just to make it very, very simple at first, you know what? That menu bar down there at the bottom is not going to work, or that nav bar. Yeah, it's going to be in the way. So get rid of that. I'm going to leave that container there. Like I said, we'll just have to kind of figure this out as we go along, figure out what works best and what we want. I'm going to get rid of the in drawer for the time being. And then I'm just going to duplicate that. And it needs to be a back arrow instead. All right, there we go. So this is all kind of off now. All right. Deal with that in a minute. Which actually, I think I would prefer to do it like this anyway. Okay. All right. So that's taken care of. So let's go ahead and create our just simple chat here for the time being. So what I'm going to do, inside this list view, I'm just going to go ahead and put a column. And then inside that column, I'm going to put row 1 and duplicate for row 2. And if you want to label those, you can. I'm going to label this one Other Users, and this one Auth User. And then we're going to leave this one aligned to the left, and we're going to align this one to the right. And leave them up against the wall for now. Add a little bit of space between them, but not a huge amount. Like 6 would be pretty good, I think. All right. And now, kind of fill this out a little bit. So, how do we want this to look? I think do a picture, make it pretty small. And same over here. So 30 and 30. And then I think I'll do a container. Set the alignment here. Telegram does it at the bottom. Grouping at the top. I think I like bottom better, so I'm going to align at the bottom. And then I'll create some space here. Maybe like that. Yeah. I think I want to bring it up some. Okay. Leave it like that for now. Around the edges. And I'm just going to kind of pull this out so you can see what I'm working with here. Alright, that looks pretty good. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to copy that, drop it in here, and just, you know what, instead of doing that, let's just duplicate this, make that easier. No. And of course, we want to change this. That spacing there, that should be pretty good, I think. I'll work with that for now. I do want to change title here, which this doesn't really matter. It's just more for your own use to kind of keep things separate. All right. So before we do anything else with that, let's go ahead down here. It's going to be our chat or our input field down here. So basing it, I think, off of Telegram would be the best. So I'm going to do a row. I think I am going to change the color though on this a little bit, make it slightly lighter. It stands out just a little bit. Maybe a little too much. That'll work. And then let's bring this stuff in a little bit here. And I'm actually going to make this container smaller. We're going to go to 78. And we are going to bring this off the top. So let's go to 20. Start there. All right. And let's see what kind of buttons we want to have here. What we want this to do. I'm not sure what all I want this to have. I mean, we are going to upload pictures and videos, stuff like that. I don't know if I really want to go with anything beyond that on the little customization. There's like a recording button, record audio. Yeah, I don't know. So let's just let's grab icon button. Get rid of the background. Okay. And grab our text field here, which right now, let's just take that all the way back up to the top. Okay. And it's already spaced a little bit. It's a little more than what I want. Let's do 4. Let's go down here and turn that off. Leave it as text. Get rid of this and that as well. And we're going to do outline and filled, and our fill color is actually going to be jet black. And border radius, we're going to kind of round it off some. All right, let's bring that down again. All right, and okay. So let's get rid of label. Don't want that. Go to hint text. Maybe make that a little wider. There we go. That'll work there. Okay. And let's see what else. Max lines. We want this to be able to expand, I do believe. So I don't think we really want it to be just kind of trailing off. So minimum lines be 1, max be pretty much infinite unless you want to set it as something, but it's like 4. Yeah, I think I'll set it as 4. But that means that this needs to be dynamic so that it can have variable height, which is going to boost us way up there to the top, since we're sitting in a stack here, which is not what we want. Let's see here. I'm trying to think about. Don't really want to set max height. I think the best way that I want to handle this, I guess in theory we could just put it in the column, I guess. Let's see here. Oh, that's not good. We don't want that down here. That up there. This down here. So I think I could do it that way. Probably be the easiest way to do it. Yeah. You can't make that scrollable though. So let me do this. Actually gonna add another column below that column, or below, yeah. I'm going to grab this, move it in here. Oh, crap. Need the list view. Okay. And then this row, go to the column as well. Now, do it like that. And that should be what we want. Obviously, we want this list view to be scrollable, and we also want it to be reversed as well. Let's go ahead and set that. That way the messages go from the bottom up, which that needs to be down. It's possible that we're going to have to change a few things here of how I was doing it if I want this box to be expandable here. Yeah, kind of changed my approach a little bit on that. Okay. Let's see here. Let's do something. Add 12 to that. Get it up off the bottom some. All right. I think that's what we want. It might be. Don't think we want these in the same container, so that is a bit of, or same column. It's a bit of a problem. Let's see here. Well, doesn't want to let me adjust that. Probably has to do with that. Just have to see. I don't know that it's going to make much of a difference anyway. No, what am I looking at here? All right. Just leave it like that for now. It's fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and do our query. So we're going to do that on the list view, obviously, which is containing that column. So this will be, well, before we do that, we need to make a reference point to our chat that is associated with. So go to your page parameter, and we'll do chat reference. It does need to be required. It'll be a document reference to chats. And now I can do this query on the list view, query collection, and we're going to do chat messages. And then the parent will be from variable, which will be this chat reference here. All right. And order by, probably do date. Decreasing. Okay, so that is doing what I want. All right, cool. That's what I want to see. All right, so now you can see that we got these going back and forth like this. So now we need to set some variables here to make this work correctly. I do want to do something real quick though before we do anything further. Get a hold of this column here. I'm just going to move it up slightly. There we go. All right, so go ahead and grab your row here for the auth user. So this will be whoever's typing here. This will be the message box for them. And then we're going to set a conditional visibility on it and do a single condition. And we're going to go to the chat messages document and select created by reference. Just leave all that alone. Is equal to authenticated user. Okay. And then on this one, for the other user, whether that's one user or if you have a group chat, do single condition again, and you do chat message created by reference is not equal to your authenticated user. All right, so now you are displaying the correct messages depending on who's entering them. So that takes care of that for you. All right, I do need to add something down here. Almost forgot. We need to put, which I'm just gonna duplicate this, move it over. I'm actually gonna get rid of that. So obviously we need like a send button or something. So just use that. It'll work. Okay. All right, cool. So I'm gonna bring that up some more. Which means that we need to adjust this. Maybe not. No, it's good. Okay, so that takes care of that. So, so we've got the main thing set up here for the chat. So before we continue further with setting up our chat and kind of configuring these boxes to display the different data, including like pictures and videos and how I'm going to configure all of that, let's go back to our home page. And in playing around with this and doing some testing, I ran into a little bit of an issue where trying to query the associated message to be able to display a preview for that chat was throwing an error, a null error, and I think it was probably because it couldn't generate the query fast enough, or I don't know, any number of reasons why it wasn't displaying it correctly by associating a recently added message to the chat. So I was getting like a null error. So we're not going to be able to do it that way, where we have this querying the most recent chat message reference here. So we're actually just going to remove that and remove this. That's already removed. So what I'm going to do instead is kind of a workaround, which this will be fine anyway. I'd already added it in here. Let me delete that. I'm going to leave recent message reference here because we're still going to use that. But instead of querying that recent message to get the text from it, we're just going to add it here because we're going to have to update the chat collection, or the chat document anyway, if we're going to add the reference. So we may as well just go ahead and add something here. So we're just going to do recent chat message and just set it as a string. And so every time a new message is added to a chat, that field will be updated with the text, and so we can get the text from there now instead. And we still have the same parameters applied to it so that it only allows 32 characters. So now we're not having to worry about that query. We do have to worry about this though, as far as setting the variable for it. That's not going to work. So that we can have that displayed. So I've been kind of considering how I wanted to do that. If a new message has been added and the respective user has not seen it yet. Obviously, the way we had it before was using this chat messages and the seen by reference, whether that list contained the user or not, as to whether that was blue or gray. We can't do that since we're not querying that document anymore, since we're running into some issues with it. So, in consideration of how best to handle that, kind of thinking about what I want to do. Probably a couple of different ways we could do it, but we'll see. I haven't quite decided how I want to do it. We may use a little bit more of a complex method. Not hard, but just a little bit more efficient, I guess, than just using the status of a list within a document to define whether the user has seen the message or not. Especially since if you have a group with, group chat with 1,000 users, it's a lot of data to add to an array field like that. In every single message, so I don't know if we want to do it that way anyway. So we'll come back to that in the next part, in part 3, after I kind of assess how I want to handle it in the best way, most efficient way to do that. We do need to add an action here though, which actually it's not where I wanted to add it. Guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm kind of a stickler for putting actions in certain places, so I'm actually going to put it on the container. And that'll be navigate to our chat page here. And obviously we want to pass this chat document reference over there. And I think we'll slide left. Yeah, we'll slide left and change that to 200 milliseconds. Alright, so that's good for now, for tonight, or for this part of the tutorial. I did want to run a preview and show you what's going on here, so pause the video and run a preview and kind of show some of the stuff that's going on here real quick. Okay, so we've got this preview up here now. So you can see all this is here. We've got our chat, which guess I don't have any text inside of that field at the moment. Probably not, honestly. As a matter of fact, we don't even need to reload that. So we can at least get a kind of a preview of that real quick. Okay, so you can see that we've got our folder, all folder, and of course our chat here If we swipe, takes us over, changes up here, of course, takes us over here to our other folder, back, or we can select it up here as well. Okay. I can tap on this, but it's just gonna have a bunch of blank stuff in here, obviously, because we didn't finish any of this out. I've got some messages in the database. That's why you're seeing stuff here. But we haven't applied any structuring to that, so obviously it's not going to show anything. All right, so that's working correctly, and then of course our button down here with our animations. Let's see how that works. Works nicely. Looks good. All right, so we're moving along, getting there. In the next part 3, we'll finish setting up the components for our actual chat, so we have something to work with in here. Honestly, we'll probably just build it in one and then just duplicate the page and make it the end-to-end encrypted chat page instead of just rebuilding it all over again. And then after we get that built out and make sure all this is good to go in here, we'll do a couple of things with these down here. It's kind of a global search to be able to find open chats that are available. That's what we'll define it as anyway. And then, of course, user profile. But as soon as we get just kind of the main user interface set up and working the way that we want it to, then we're going to begin focusing on adding users. We'll take a look at this live chat, video chat conferencing, among some other APIs and things that we'll be using. So, but anyway, that's it for part 2. We'll dive back into it shortly. Get working on the rest of this. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care.